how in the world did Johnny Ace get so much power in the WWE? I figured you'd have fun with this.
Well, you know, that is subject to debate. I mean, there's been talk that maybe he had pictures of Vince with a goat. You know, but in all seriousness, when you look at Laurinaitis' career, he got in the business because his brother was a star. And he was kind of protected and, you know, and coddled a little bit because his brother was a star. You know, he was an underneath guy. That didn't work out well, so he got to be the sheep herder's flag bearer, where he could stand in the corner and wave the flag and kind of watch people that knew what they were doing. And from there, I believe he became a dynamic dude. We know how that turned out. Then he went to Japan because his brother was a star. The Road Warriors were huge. He got a shot in Japan, where he became the cute young blonde guy gene that smiled a lot and had dimples. And I've heard that, although I never went to Japan, this is just hearsay, that Mrs. Baba liked him, and not in an affair kind of way, but in a kind of, there's the cute little blonde guy gene that smiles a lot, and he was kind of a pet. And he was put in a good spot with tag team partners and against other teams that knew what they were doing, and so he couldn't screw it up too much. And then he got a job in WCW because his brother was a star. But now, because he had this Japanese background, Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, he's great with finishes. So he would come up with finishes that he stole from Japan, whether they were applicable or not to whatever was going on. At that point, then, you know, when WCW lost more money than any wrestling promotion in the history of the business, and he was an office staff, front office employee, naturally, that made him valuable for Vince McMahon to hire him. Where I understand that Stephanie loves him because he's a cute young blonde guy gene that wears a suit and has a dimple and smiles and says yes a lot. Stephanie even made the comment when Jim Ross was stepping down from the talent relations job so he could get the hell out of there and move back to Oklahoma, that now we finally have a talent relations vice president that works for the creative team instead of against us. Because JR knew what he was doing and would go in and tell Vince, hey, these writers are fucked up, and Stephanie obviously didn't like that. So that is a quote, by the way. I do know that for a fact, that she said that, because she wants people to agree with her instead of tell her what the fuck is wrong with what she's doing. So Laurinaitis, despite the fact that he signed the wrong one-legged guy, we've told that story, I believe, despite the fact that he has shown ineptitude, he's the guy on his watch, The Rock's contract expired without a phone call saying thank you. He's the one who set up the Florida developmental territory that's now been turned into a penal colony because everybody that goes down there, not only do they learn nothing about wrestling, but they got so much free time because they never run any shows that they had a string of, about 8 DUIs, because all the guys do is go out in Tampa at strip clubs, get drunk, and look at, naked women. Nothing wrong with that, but don't drive afterwards, especially if you want to get a job and everybody in the world knows who you are. So WWF wrestlers, or WWE, wrestlers arrested again. I mean, they've got a separate booking room in the Tampa Police Department just for people who are under contract to WWE. Laurinaitis was the spearhead of that developmental program, and he's basically dismantled the developmental system, whereas Jim Ross recruited college and pro athletes and independent wrestlers that had shown the passion to learn their craft and to work night in and night out and accept the schedule. Laurinaitis signs up bodybuilders, big, tall guys with 2 left feet that are awkward just like he was, because everybody signs people who look like themselves, and lingerie models. So therefore, John Laurinaitis is probably the point man for the destruction of the business, because pretty soon, told on the major stars, we will have no stars in the wrestling business because Laurinaitis hires bodybuilders, clumsy people, and lingerie models. So in answer to the question of how he got that much power, it involves women in positions of power that liked him because he smiles a lot, says yes, and looks good in a suit. There you have it.
Well, there you have it.